Welcome back to Not One Videos. Today I'm going to be talking with my friend Dave again. We are going to be discussing a concept artist called Feng Zhu. Most of the knowledge is coming from Dave, and we're going to watch one of his tutorials as well. It should be fun. Enjoy. So,
Easy guys.
Right. So last time we were talking about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it might be good to do a wee recap. Yeah, we were talking about Lord of the Rings and Star Wars mashup.
Concept art. So it was John Howe, Alan Lee, and Ralph McQuarrie.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Cool. So, and the thing is that I cut that. We actually went on to discuss loads more. We did. I think we did another whole hour of talking that I just cut off.
Yeah.
Because we went a bit into other things. But
yeah, there's some personal life stuff as well in there. And...
Yeah. But one of the things that we did talk about that, well, you kind of brought up was this guy Feng Zhu, who is a concept artist.
Yes.
And then you started showing me some of his stuff, and I was like, "Whoa, that deserves a video all of its own." So
100%.
for everyone out there, I don't really know this guy at all, Feng Zhu. Dave knows him from back in his uni or whatever days, and
yeah. So how I found this guy was, I started an interactive media course, and I started in my late 20s. And I think whenever you start a course later on in life, you take it a wee bit more seriously. So I just got Photoshop onto my laptop, and it was the case of that it just about ran on the laptop. And I searched on YouTube, something, figuring out how to do something, and up popped this name called Feng Zhu. And he runs his series of videos on YouTube are called Design Cinema. And it really just blew my mind when I first found him. And it was a case of, once I found his videos, at that point he had maybe 60 videos up. And I spent like a month, 2 months just watching it and having my mind blown that like Photoshop was able to do all of this. And I guess we'll start seeing some of it here now. So a bit of background, Feng Zhu is currently based out of Singapore. And he owns his own concept art design school. He's one of the bigger names in concept art in the world today. What I find most impressive about his stuff, first of all, my background is something that he drew. So obviously there's the obvious part of it that he's, there's the obvious part of it that he's super, super talented, but it is his output of work, and how quickly he's able to put out incredible ideas and incredible concepts. And I think I mentioned it in the last video as well, a real key in concept design is designing something that has a chance of what am I trying to say? It has a chance of fulfilling that purpose. Now, what I mean by that is you can draw any shape and then say, right, that's going to fly. Yep. But the real key is to draw something that is going to fly, that looks like nothing else. And actually, when the person looks at it, they believe that thing can fly. Whereas if you just draw a circle and say that's going to fly, that's very abstract. Whereas there's a functionality in concept art where you have to find that line between reality and abstract.
It basically has to be believable.
Yes, 100%.
Completely believable, but completely new at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So I guess, should I share my screen and
work away, man? I mean, today, basically, I'm going to let you do the vast majority of the talking. I'll be asking questions and
yeah, cool. I already think this has went 10 times better than the last video.
Well, I mean, that's just because you maybe feel a bit more prepared or whatever.
Yeah.
The one, before we go into that, the one aspect, because at the end of our last conversation, we were talking about how mind-blowing it is that he is, like I said, it's digital art. So I'm
Yes.
sure we're going to be talking about all sorts of aspects of the art over this next little while. But
Yeah.
and how we were both saying that Ralph McCrory, John Howe, and Alan Lee were all painting and drawing their pictures.
Yes.
Um, but this guy, and you were like, I think this guy's on the same level of them, and I was just like, yeah, I totally agree with you, because I mean, you can't compare apples and oranges for the first time, but he's basically the new generation, and
Yeah.
you of course he is just as good as them. Like, you can't, just because I like Alan Lee and I love his
Hmm.
work, doesn't mean that he's better. Like, this guy is just
Yeah.
top of the pile as well.
Yeah. There's
You know,
also a different, like those three names that we mentioned: John Howe, Alan Lee, Ralph McCory. We finally learned the three names.
yeah,
Those
we
three
sound so
people.
knowledgeable now.
I know. So yeah, they were like years ago before digital art was a thing. So you were telling me the story about how Alan Lee was in New Zealand and his project for Lord of the Rings was supposed to take 6 months, and then he ended up being there for a couple of years. Whereas I think those kind of stories are few and far between now, because big companies just hire a concept art studio for a month, and they're able to pull in photos of New Zealand and maybe send someone out for a week to New Zealand and then come back and then work from there.
It is
So it's,
crazy. I
it's it's
mean,
very very high output now in concept art.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
I guess the thing is that whole Lord of the Rings and was 20 years ago. Star Wars is even like 20. Star Wars is 45 years ago.
yeah, well, Ralph McCrory and George Lucas met in 1975.
I think that is 45 years ago.
Is it? Oh, there you
I don't.
go.
Maybe it's 55.
You're
I don't
right.
know.
Yeah, yeah,
Why don't you
okay.
let us know in the comments below how shit my maths is?
Get the calculator right. Yeah, will I share a screen here? Will I?
Yep, go for it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I thought it was a good idea to put a face to a name. So this is Feng Zhu here,
Yep.
and I think he's like late 30s, maybe early 40s now. Um, his but he has been a concept artist since he was late teens, early 20s. So yeah, so this is the YouTube channel that I found. It's called FZD School. Let me see. It's called FZD School. Now that is obviously Feng Zhu Design School.
Yep.
And this is the one that's based out in Singapore. I think at one point he had a branch in LA as well, but it was on the website about an hour ago there, and it doesn't seem to be on the website anymore. So he's maybe adapted and changed it to Singapore. And yeah, so let me see. If I go videos here, I reckon. So you're talking like we're at like Design Cinema episode 105. That's the one we're going to be watching in a minute here. But I reckon I found him, yeah, maybe as far back as like late 20s. I can't remember exactly what was the first video that I saw.
Right. Well, I recognize one that you showed me years ago, and I've only just made the connection.
Okay.
Is that one number 23?
23. Yeah, we'll watch the end of it. Yeah, this is really good.
I can remember you showing me this way back when you were getting into Photoshop. And just
Yeah.
being like, what the heck?
So yeah, this is all like sped up, but that's just some of the work that he does. Now that was all created just on a plain palette. That started off as a grey palette, and he's created these clouds and all these shapes. This is actually part 3 of this here. So if you're watching this video and you're interested in what we're chatting about, then find Design Cinema, and this one here has 3 parts to it, and you can see him building it all up from scratch. And I guess this is kind of an end product for this image.
Mm-hmm. And this is probably a perfect image to say about the connection between the Lord of the Rings, because that's very Lord of the Ringsy.
Isn't it? There is a video of him talking about what's good for keeping your mind active and how to keep on top of your creativity, and he talks about reading books, and he mentions some of his favorite books, and I'm fairly certain it was The Hobbit that he pulled out as one of his favorite books, which makes complete sense. And I mean, if you're into The Hobbit, you're into The Lord of the Rings. Like, I know the two are the same story, but do you know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just an example of one thing, but we'll go to the video that I thought was very relevant for this here, because this video, I think I linked it to you, this video is very much something that Alan Lee would draw.
Yep.
So a great thing about his videos is that he's very, very open. It's a massive corner of the internet where if you're interested in this line of work and this way to draw, like, he is so open about his processes.
So he won't mind us sharing his video because we're...
I really don't think so. Absolutely not. So, you know, he talks you through like you've never had Photoshop open before, and I'm just going to sort of skip through this video. I didn't realize this in this video. He's actually taken folders. What he draws is a thing called Falder's Farm. And this is now obviously taken from a book one of the Belgrad, Pawn of Prophecy, David Eddings. Never heard of it, but it looks cool. He's saying that this book is a fantasy world. Yeah, so this is interesting here. So he always pulls in reference images. I believe there's a video on his FZD School YouTube channel where he talks about his hard drive of reference images, and he gets them anywhere from Google Earth to Pexels, any amount of Google image searching, but he mainly takes a lot of photos himself from his travels. So I would imagine by the looks of them, maybe not many of them are his own images, like the portraits in the bottom right-hand corner. You would imagine on Falder's Farm, there's a man and wife living on the farm.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. That's what he's thinking.
Yeah. And you'll see elements of, see in the top right-hand corner, this image up here, you'll see elements of that balcony with the rooms. You'll see that creeping into the design. But he's definitely going for an aesthetic here. So that's one of his first steps when he goes to draw. Maybe not every time, but when he starts a big project. Certainly if he's getting paid for something, like this guy works on AAA games. Do you know what I mean by AAA games?
Not really.
AAA games are like your Grand Theft Auto 5, your Assassin's Creed.
I've played Assassin's Creed.
You have played it?
I have played Assassin's Creed. I mean, I have played Grand Theft Auto, but not for very long. It wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah. All those games that are massive, they're called AAA games. So
Skyrim, is that a AAA game?
I would say Skyrim's, yeah. It's pretty much a household. That's maybe a measurement of it. I've never played it, but I've certainly heard of Skyrim loads of times. So
you gotta give that a shot.
Yeah.
It's lethal, man.
Okay.
I love it.
So it goes back to the reference images. Yeah, so here we go. So I guess we'll just hit play here. So this is like a sped up video of him sketching. And this whole video is about what he would be looking to achieve on a first day project. So let's say you're the author of that book and you've came to his design studio and you want to make your book into a film, and you're hiring his studio. He's using this video to say this is the level that he would be looking to create on the first day. So what you're looking at here is a sped up video, and you're probably looking at the first 10 minutes of sketching. Like,
it's crazy it's crazy that that's a digital drawing. I mean, it looks like a proper sketch with pen.
Yeah.
Or a really dark pencil.
Yeah, I mean, what's key in that is the pressure sensitive pens that they use, for the tablets. All those Wacom tablets, and there's several different other brands. They're pressure sensitive. So you'll see those wee faint scribbles that he uses for the grass and land over here, like that's him pressing really lightly. Whereas in here, I don't know if you'll be able to see the mouse move here, but
I can, yeah.
Yeah, that's just simply him leaning harder on the pen. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I've literally never done a single digital drawing other than in Paint, whenever, like that old program Paint.
Yes.
Do you remember it?
Not Photoshop. I remember Paint. Yeah.
Back in the day, that's the last time I used any sort of digital drawing.
I think it's fair to say Photoshop is a wee bit more advanced than Paint.
Just a tad.
Just a tad. So already here, what I notice is like he's drawn 3, and I think he ends up drawing 4 different profile shots of the same house. But he is from different angles, and it's just coming out of his head, and whenever he pulls the image back and you see the 4 images sitting beside each other, you can tell they're the same building. They look like a real rough architect's sketch.
Whenever he did the first 2 up top, I hadn't realized that. I thought he was more kind of drawing like a village or a town with multiple buildings, but now I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I get.
Be a street running up between the 2.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I get why you're thinking that 100%. But no, it's the one shot of the one barn, or not barn, a farmhouse. That's what he's drawn. But see where it's. I'm gonna pause it here. So see this area here. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean about? Remember I said like you'll see it, like the balcony. Do you remember the image of the farmhouse that had a big balcony with rooms running along it? I feel like that's inspired him to create this section of the barn.
Yep.
And you can also see why I feel like this video alone is very relevant to Alan Lee and his work.
Yeah, it's that sort of sketching style, man, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there was an image, like in the group of images that you showed me at the beginning, all of those green and sort of folky kind of building images. The middle building, it looked like it had this square arch in the center of the building, which is that part, which must be that part there. In the middle. Can you see that, like at the bottom there?
Yeah. Where it looks like a walkway, an entrance into the farm.
Yep.
You could imagine a horse and cart going through there.
Yep.
But again, like, to even like do a 4th profile, so obviously the top 2 are side views and the bottom 2 seem to be front and rear. Like he's got that architect's brain at the sketch part of the design process,
Mm-hmm. It's so handy to have the ability to layers is a great thing, and also to do step backwards, stuff like that. Like say you don't like something, you can just undo it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can do it any amount of times, because when you're working on like a pen and paper medium, of course you can draw. If you're drawing very faintly, you can rub out that line any number of times. But if you get into heavy shading, you only have 2 or 3 times until you start ruining the paper.
Yeah, I mean, straight away you're indenting into the paper anyway.
Yeah, whereas this here is definitely a massive advantage with digital art. He can erase infinite amount of times, you know. And these are just all abstract shapes, and I'm sure, like, I've now muted him, just to make it a bit clearer, us chatting. But I remember him talking about he's just trying to find abstract shapes and find the form of the building and what would work and its functionality, all of that. There's that bridge. You had a reference image of a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, for me, like, not only would I find it really difficult to come up with that drawn there that's highlighted there, but to do it like 4 times with the same building either side, and also this is sped up, so you're maybe now looking at what he drew in an hour and a half.
That's crazy.
Like,
I couldn't do one of those, and it would take me hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
100%. I believe, yeah, like, I believe you could do it, but it would just take both of us ages, like ages.
Yep. I mean, one thing I'm pretty sure I couldn't do. I mean, maybe I could. Maybe I'm selling myself short, but like, is to do it from your imagination.
Mm.
Or well, I guess
Well,
it's not entirely from his imagination. If he's got reference material, he's looking at the structure, like those little
mhm.
beams and stuff. So he has got reference points to actually look at.
Yeah.
But he's just
Um,
reshaping everything and putting it back together in his own order.
yeah. Like, the creative part of your brain, I think is 100% like a muscle. The more you work it, the better it performs.
Yep.
And if this is his career and he's doing this
Every day,
5, 6,
all
7 days a week,
Yep.
Yeah,
What a great existence to have.
yeah, it's fantastic. So this is him
I mean,
finding the
sitting and watching videos of it and talking about it's great too, though.
yeah.
It
You
could,
can see slight differences in the drawings. There's that one that he's working on. The walkway is much smaller than the one on the left.
so he'll
You
ultimately
know,
choose one of these to
yeah.
send to the video or to send to the book people.
You know, I'm looking at this now, and I think he's moved on from drawing side profiles of a house that could be the same to there. It may actually be developing into 3 different options. I think he mentions at the start of this that he did. He was drawing side profiles and front and rears, but actually looking at it now, it may actually be
Next time
three
that
different options.
next time that he gets all 4 houses clearly in shot, just press pause and we just
Yeah, sure.
do a little comparison between them all and see if we can figure out the different angles.
There you go.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, that was good.
oh no, no, no. There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
think
might actually sound a bit silly, but I don't know if it is. The same house drawn 4 different ways after me saying side
no,
profiles and fronts and rears.
it's the same style. Like that's why I initially thought it might have been a village, is because it's right. It's all clearly built by the same architect. It's like, you know, you go into a town and like developers buy whole sections of the town, and then all the houses in that section of the town just are built to the same sort of design specifications.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like, but there are
Mm-hmm.
differences, like for sure. Although it's hard to tell. Like, I mean, you could just walk around the building and it might look like that on the other side. You never know.
Mm.
My favorite one's the bottom left and bottom left and top right.
Yeah,
I like the big walk through archways.
yeah, yeah. There's something a bit more epic or something about that.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of in Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
Once, right? So in Skyrim, you start as a captive character, and you escape, And then the first town that you come to is this little town called River something or other. I can't remember. It's been so long since I played it.
Hmm.
Um, and you walk through this kind of wooden archway into the town, and it kind of reminds me of that walkway into the Skyrim
Right.
town.
This is it's amazing what a bit of shading can do to a drawing.
Oh yeah.
So his shading is just simply a layer below the line layer in Photoshop. So he can go and do all of that without. It's not like he's drawn around each line. I
So
know, I know, I know. Most people watching this will have an understanding of Photoshop, but if you don't understand Photoshop, the line layer, he's drawn the line layer as a sketch, and then he creates a new layer, and it goes below that there, and then he shades on this layer. Real simple.
um I've been trying to keep my eye out for something that you mentioned to me the other day about drawing digitally.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't noticed it in this video, although it may have just gone too quickly for me to have noticed, was you were saying to me about um, the way it's good to keep flipping a drawing from side to side like that.
Yeah, I think he's about to start doing it here, if I remember rightly. Yeah, so it's called trans. You, I know that it controls. It's Control T, and then you flip horizontal, um, and it allows you to invert the drawing. There you go. That just happened there now. So the benefits of that is your hand has a natural curvature to it. So if he's drawn a line that is quite awkward for his hand to draw on the tablet, he just flip horizontals it and then he can draw the line.
That's like, I mean, and that's something where digital drawings kicks the absolute ass off standard
Yeah,
drawing, because that
yeah.
often frustrates me. One side of my, like a drawing will look, oh, that looks really good. And then the other side's like, wah.
Yeah, so a flip horizontal function on Photoshop. And he also would say that like it gives you a sort of, it helps your eye refresh as well, gives you a bit of a different perspective look on the drawing. And sometimes he'll flip a drawing and be like, oh, it actually works better that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big advantage there as well.
He
So
just extended the building.
yeah, so he's using the mark tool there. See the line that he's creating here now. That's like a mark tool. So he's going to highlight this whole section and then move it across because he realizes here it's bigger than that. He needs more space. So there is another massive advantage of drawing digitally with Photoshop and a pen and tablet. Like if you're doing that on paper, it's start again or rub it all out and learn from your mistake. Whereas you can take your mistake and just move it, and you'll see him doing it here now. Oh, there you go. So that's time being saved, and clients' money being saved. Probably more so your time as a designer in this line of work.
I mean, just if you had the option to do that, everyone would do that, wouldn't they? I mean, it's a no-brainer that that's been built into the software. It's such a good idea.
Mm-hmm. There he does it again. So yeah, it's totally fine to make mistakes in Photoshop whenever the solutions to your mistakes are as simple as a Control T hit on the keyboard, or a marker tool. It's okay. This drawing's got me interested in that book now.
You going to go and read it?
Whoever the main character is in that book.
I bet it is. I mean,
Falder's Farm.
Maybe let's press pause and Google it, and then see what the synopsis of the story is.
So yeah, I mean, let's see. That's what we're reading there. Like, if you want to pause the video at this point and read that instead of me reading it out loud.
Yeah, probably.
That's definitely what it sounds like. One of those books where I start reading it's like every paragraph has a word that I'm like, Belgaria. I'm saying it like there's a question mark at the end of the word.
Cool.
So yeah, that sounds like an interesting
little book. Yep.
Yeah.
Looks old as well. That top left image is so cool,
isn't it? Like if I drew that, it would be like, whoa!
I'm so good
now. I'm gonna post that online. But it's just for him. It's just a wee small thumbnail up in the top left-hand corner of one of his 115 videos on YouTube. Very super talented, but not only super talented. Like he really does put the work in.
It's just a passion, though, isn't it? It's like if you can do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, isn't it?
Like watching this makes me want to go on Photoshop and just start drawing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting an itch to do a bit of drawing now myself, to be honest.
Yeah, right, bye-bye.
Cool, that was a good chat. Right, see ya.
Yeah. What YouTube video?
I mean, we've already been talking a good 40 minutes now, anyway.
Have we? Let me. We should do this more.
I definitely want to see the end of this whole thing. Sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of wee things to say after the video, but certainly, I would love to do another chat on another one of Feng Zhu's. This is the thing. See, when I found this guy drawn on YouTube, I could sit and watch him all day.
Yeah.
And I did.
I would happily make another video about something else.
Yeah.
Or one of his other projects.
Yeah, certainly. I'll just fast forward this on. Like this looks like he's taken another thumbnail and he's working that. Adapting the design, changing that a bit. Well, for videos, for future videos that we do like this, we'll figure out how to get my sound going into your computer. It's bound to be a way for us to do it. Unless I link you to the video and you play it from your end,
Don't even know. I was looking at my settings and it doesn't do it. One way I know you could do it is you would take your headphones out and it would it would come through your microphone, but it just might not be very good quality.
I think I might be able to do it through OBS. So I don't
OBS would be a way to do it.
I think you're going to be able to get OBS for your Mac, can you?
I've got it. Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, but
it's super simple. I didn't really like it when I first started using it, and now I've got my head around it, and it's super simple, man. Just him speeding everything up. I mean, just look at all that work, man. This is what he's saying would be acceptable for a first day working as a concept artist.
And this is why I never have a hope of actually being a concept artist in my life, ever. Because there's no way I could ever get to that standard and do that amount of work in that amount of time. I mean, I just don't have enough hours in the day to actually... I mean, if I'd started 20 years ago, I might be there now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Never say never.
Got a baby now, man. And life and responsibility.
I understand you.
I just love, at the minute, I'm loving doing this channel and just being able to absorb my brain in the idea of creativity and art. I mean, it's amazing that this guy's got an incredible career and everything like that. But I mean, you can just appreciate it for just the amazingness that it is. It's just,
Yeah,
Awesome.
man.
And still aspire to do as good as you can at the same time.
Well, we're at 38 minutes. It's a 50-minute long video that he does.
Yeah, like
Look at the difference in the shading makes to it. Like,
yeah, it's incredible. So a bit, I mean, he sends that to the client after an afternoon drawing it. Can you imagine that client?
he actually says this wouldn't be something that he shows to a client.
Okay.
So he's saying they would then take this and then start making 3D renders of it and start that whole side of the process.
Yeah, he's probably got a whole department for that of other people who just could do it for him, don't they?
Oh yeah, I don't think, from what I gather, I don't think he works in 3D that much. He is very much like design, functionality, make it look original, and then everyone takes his ideas and puts it into, makes it happen. Like, So I'll just fast forward to the end because he does start shading this a wee bit. I really hope he finishes this. I hope this becomes like a 3-part. This is episode 105. I hope he does episode 105, part 2 and part 3.
Where he colors it.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Imagine he'd done the whole farm and machinery and all. And
if he does do another that, then we should revisit that and come back and have a little chat about that, because that'd be so cool just to see it get finished off.
Yeah. So I'll just flick forward right to. You can see even like with Photoshop, there's almost like a red. I don't know if you're picking that up, like almost like a reddish tinge coming through the ink that he's using. And then look at that. There's like a different like.
Oh yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
He's changed something there. I love drawings like that. Hey.
Yeah.
That's like, you could see that in like a Roald Dahl book or something, couldn't you?
I think that's way beyond Roald Dahl. It's
just that style, that like sketchy line work.
See, man, I love sketches. I actually, I mean, sometimes I like the sketches more than finished work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like the finished work tries too hard. That's just gorgeous, like on here. And so he puts this, he gets it to the point where he uses like a final image. So what he's saying here is, this is, as someone that's working in a design studio doing concept art, this is what would be acceptable to show your boss after the first day.
You basically have to be top notch.
And I think you do have to take it with a pinch of salt that this guy is 20 years into the job, really high up in the industry. So obviously there is a very high level of standard here. I think there would be a lot of exception. Well, a bit more lenient if it was like you're a junior level concept artist.
You see what he's written across the top there?
Alder's Farm, rough version 1. Yeah.
Feldor's Farm, rough.
It's just rough. Yeah, it's just rough. I just drew it just for the sake of it.
Knocked it up.
Yeah. Honestly, I think if I drew that, I think I would be happy. I could retire.
I'd frame that shit.
Yeah.
That would be going up on my wall, man.
Yeah, man. So I thought it might be good, well, definitely if we're doing more of these videos, like I would love Feng Zhu to have like quite a prominent.
Yeah, we can definitely.
I'll bring a lot of his stuff to the channel.
That'd be cool, man. We'll revisit it for sure, man. 100%.
Not one videos, and
I
thought if you're watching this here, like I thought it's always nice. Feng Zhu Design on Instagram. So go find him. You'll find his website, his school's website, and he will post lovely photos of some of the work that he's doing. like look at that train wreck there. Like that's
In-class demo.
yeah. So his classes, he would sit and his students would watch him draw quite a bit, and he will talk about what he's doing and why form and perspective is important in this scenario. I would love also maybe to do a video on some of his students' work. Like some of his students' work, if this is, we're now in the FZD website, but like, you know, some of his students' work is fantastic in itself. Like I just clicked on the first thing that caught my eye. You know, like that's gorgeous there. You know, there's students coming through his school now that are like just as good, really, as him. Like, you know.
Yeah, he's basically just showing them how to use the software and maybe shortcuts and stuff like that. And
well, a lot of like the fundamentals of design, perspective, form, foreground, background, how all of that stuff's important, you know. These are just animals, some of the rooms that they do.
that was a cool one there.
Well,
don't go back, it's all right.
This one?
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Isn't that cool? That's class. Yeah, so there's see these kind of shots here. I follow them on Facebook and Instagram and all that. Environments.
Isometric drawings.
Is that what that's called?
I think so. Like
right, okay.
I know that from building maps for Dungeons and Dragons.
Right, cool.
So rather than a perspective flat on like that, or from down, you're doing like a perspective
3-point.
Yeah,
3-point perspective.
It's almost like 3D. Yeah.
Like look at the lighting in there. See the way the TVs are highlighting these parts of the bed, and there's just a good feeling in these here, and they're super impressive. Like I spent about a month debating whether I should give this a go and go to his design school.
Why not?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's in Singapore, Los Angeles, and I'm currently based in Ireland. I know that's not a massive issue, but yeah, just.
I wonder how much it costs to attend his school. A lot. It's
42,000. I can say this because it's on the website. It works out. I actually had that question in my head earlier on today when I was loading up this website, and if you go into enrollment, you get course fees, and it's 42,000 SGD, and that is 24,000 sterling
for 1 year.
Because I still have this thing in my head where I'm like, oh, I would maybe love to go there. And here's me at uni, doing graphic design and illustration already, but there's a part of me that's like, a 1 year full-time diploma working under him, like, oof.
I mean, the thing is, 24,000 sounds like a lot, but
yeah,
what you're getting for that is potentially.
It's also
1
like
year completely absorbed in that world, and completely every day you're getting taught by the absolute best. Like, I mean,
yeah, it's also that sort of fee where if you're paying that, you're not going to mess around.
Nah.
Yeah, and also, you know, you impress in that school. Not saying that doors. Well, actually, there is a stat on here somewhere. Yeah, more than 90% of our graduates are working in the entertainment design industry. Now, you would imagine that 10% either have sort of life has thrown them a curveball and they haven't been able to, or they just messed around too much. Look at the studio. There's people working for Fortnite, 4A Games, Arcane. The list of people that there were Spider-Man, load more cards. There's Baldur's Gate.
That's a great Baldur's Gate. It's click on that if you don't mind.
Oh, that's actually the name
just-
of the student that went in. Dan Lurgaluska. Marvel Studios, The Witcher. Look, more cards. So World of Warcraft, Tom Clancy, that would be cool. Tom Clancy's chain of games. So yeah, what a fantastic studio or environment to be in. Like, yeah, when I was saying the price of going to that school, like, I think it's not an awful lot of money. Obviously it's a lot of money, but it's not if like you have your blinkers on, you're like, right, that's what I'm going to do. And in that line of work, like, you wouldn't be long on making 24 grand back. Like,
oh yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah. So that is Feng Zhu. You'll probably just leave it hanging on his. I love this here earlier on. It's term break at FZD. Time for some research.
Let's go play some games.
Yeah. I like it. So yeah, I guess we'll just leave it at that. And I have spoken an awful lot in this.
That's great, though, man.
Episode.
I found it really, really interesting. So that's class. Do you
That's
want to
cool, man.
Stop
scaring the children.
Stop sharing, maybe. We'll go back to the next week. Yeah, no, that was really cool, man. I loved that. And definitely, keep an eye out for an updated version of that house, just because then we've got a reference material and we can link the two videos and say, well, go and check this video out, because that would be great to have
that's
the follow up.
100%, man.
Yep, thank you, man. Let's wrap it up there. And
your microphone sounds so much better. Hey.
Yeah, I'm glad about that.
Well done. Wee round of applause for Michael. Yeah, his microphone. Yeah.
Let's give him a big hand.
Yes. Or a microwave. Bye-bye.
Yeah, all right, cool. So, yeah, catch up with you soon, man.
Yeah, that'll do. All right.
Thanks.
Good chatting.
And cut. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you got some useful information out of that. Please check out Feng Zhu and check out links in the description below for his YouTube channel and his school as well. So if you are interested in some other future content coming up, Dave and I have decided to do a little collaboration project, which will probably, well, we'll see how long it takes, but it'll be coming out soon. And we're going to work on some concept art. So we'll see what happens. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.